Hi, this is János, Real World Audio, and we are at a special moment, and I am already listening to the Cube Audio drivers. They are just breaking in. I've been listening to Hedningarna, and the break-in is right now at 3 songs. So I've listened to 3 songs so far. So that's very, very little break in, basically 15 minutes break in so far. So I have a little bit of experience to share. What are my very first impressions? And we don't need to have to take everything as like a permanent long-term value, because drivers go through major braking, so it's going to change a lot from what it is now. What I expect for the first 400 hours, that's a very good ballpark, especially for high efficiency drivers. However, what I've been doing so far with the cats and with Nelly. So Nelly was here listening with me for these first 3 songs, and I'm going to tell you her experience. What she just told me about the sound is that she found them very good right from the start, and she said from the get-go that they sound better than the Fostex did in it. And then it was very, very intriguing, because she was first listening, sitting in the sweet spot, and she noticed that during the break-in at the very beginning, you had to sit in the sweet spot to get a concert experience. But by the 3rd song, she was actually going around in the room, like standing up on the bed, going to the side, and she said that it doesn't matter where you are in the room, it feels like the band is right here between the speakers playing, and you are not forced to a sweet spot anymore. And this is super duper impressive, considering that they not even had an hour to play to break in. That's crazy. And also, what was my first impression is that right from the first moment on, they had already a good amount of bass. And what I was experiencing with the Fostex when it broke in, for the first 100 hours it had 0 bass at all. And now we are already having a lot of bass, and very nice, well-defined bass, which was in the first 10 minutes rounder and not tight, but now by the 3rd song it's getting much more defined, much tighter, very nice. And actually, what I noticed from the frequency response graph, that the like 8 kilohertz up 10 kilohertz is like quite a bit higher than the rest of the spectrum. So I was a little bit worried, because in my room, as you see, hi there, I have a mirror on the entire wall behind these speakers, and even though I have the mirror there, it's not an issue, and even without any break-in, it has not been a fatiguing experience. So if you are worried about that it has a lot of high energy output, what my experience is at the beginning of the break-in is that it's not coming through as distorted energy, as problem, but it's coming through as very clean energy. It gives a lot of air. There's a lot of air in the sound. A very nice extension, absolutely superb, and it's not fatiguing. And one more thing, several of you have commented about the VisirCon, that welcome to VisirCon hell, and no, not at all. So what I noticed is that compared to the Fostex 2E4, I do not notice the VisirCon at all. That's pretty crazy. So in the beginning, like at the first song, when I was sitting in the sweet spot, I did not notice that the driver has a visor cone. I went out of the sweet spot and then it was noticeable. But now by the third song, by 15 minutes into break-in, if you come into the room blind, you would not guess that there are visor cones. So Grzegorz and Cube Audio, congratulations, you have done an amazing job integrating the visor cone. I have not seen any visor cone integrated so far. Actually, there's one exception. You see this driver, these old Alnicodes, they have excellent visor cone integration. There you don't see either, or don't hear that it has a visor cone. But this driver is kind of a moot point for most of you because it's unobtainium. And I don't even know the make of it because it was in a Zenith TV console, and on the basket there's just a number stamped which doesn't yield any search results, and good luck, you can't find that. And it was made in the 60s, so tough luck. So apart from that, I have heard a large number of Fostaxes, Louders, and now the Cube Audio, and only that one and the Cube Audio Fc8 sounds as if there is no visor cone. And I have a theory about that, is that it's not the visor cone who is the evil, it is the basket, it is the frame. Because look at that, what is happening here? So for here you see the visor cone is really tiny, and there's like a nice exponential growth to the cone. So you see the cone is increasing. So it's like the whole thing increases out. And we see the same thing here. So when we look at the side, at the frame, you see there is nothing protruding in front of the frame. So even the surround is behind the frame. And the visor cone is also behind the plane of the surround. And I think that's something critical, because for the visor cone to be an obstacle course, it needs to protrude, it needs to diffract the sound to the sides. And now, because we don't have this extra bulge here, that's why we are not getting those diffractions, those problems that come from the sound just curving back before it should. So anyway, these are my very first impressions after 15 minutes of break-in, and it's fabulous, it's fantastic. And even right from the get-go, right from first second, when I just sit in the sweet spot, there's absolutely zero cue to tell you where the sound is coming from. It's an absolutely boxless sound coming from the air. There's nothing to tie them to the pipes, and actually, if you have eventually for void pipes, that's something that they are really good at disappearing. However, when you have visor cone issues, that will help your brain to locate the speakers, but that's another pointer towards the lack of visor cone problems, that I cannot locate where the sound is coming from. Basically, the sound is coming from here. The musicians are in the room, and it's really fantastic. One more thing, you might be wondering what my system is that I've been playing with, and my source is my computer. I've been using the Geek Audio HD 120 DAC that's creating the signal, and I have a plain copper cable. That's the weak link in my system. However, it's going into my Darling amplifier. That's kind of like an ex-Darling. This was Charlie's Honey, and I modified it, so those are not the 1626 power tubes anymore, but they are 807s They are direct coupled to the CV5311s, and that's a 5AR4 rectifier. It's a Mallard Blackburn factory. That monstrosity there, that's the power transformer that's feeding more than 600 volts supply. It has two chokes for the high voltage supply, supplying the power section, and it's in a basically a tuned choke input supply. So there's the first capacitor is just 1 microfarad, so it behaves almost like a choke input supply, and the tuning cap is there to keep the voltage high. That transformer is a 1 kilovolt AC output transformer, and that's I'm rectifying it with to become 620 volts, I think 620 volt filter DC, and then from the power tubes to the input tubes there is an additional choke there, decoupling those two stages. And this entire amplifier, all the inside is wired with pure silver, so it's a full silver amplifier. And then the cables coming out, those are Harmonic Technologies copper cables, and you see they are coming in here, and they have instead of the regular terminals, I just have silver rods connecting to the loudspeakers. So basically now I'm following Grzegos's recommendation to use copper wire, so copper interconnect, copper speaker cables, and even though I would say the amplifier is all silver on the inside, the end result with the Cube Audio Fc8 is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It sounds really, really good, and not just really good. It's absolutely superb. And considering we are only 3 songs into the break-in, this is a totally unique experience. I never heard a driver that already sounds so promising so early in the break-in process. So thank you for tuning in. Nelly has been here with me for these 15 minutes of break-in. The cats were here. They were exploring the ports. They were just taking turns going in and out, and then joining us on the bed and just listening to music. So thank you, Grzegos. These are absolutely fantastic, phenomenal drivers, and they are a perfect match for these void pipe cabinets that I built originally for my Fostex FE204s, and I'd say they suit the Fc8 even better than they suited the FE204. And thank you. And I'm going back to having fun and continuing this very enjoyable break-in process. Please like and subscribe my videos, and I hope you have as much fun and exhilaration watching these little reports on how I am waking up the drivers, the Fc8s, and what are my experiences, initial experiences. And thank you for being here for these very first minutes of the break-in. Bye bye.